Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Ryan, and I'm going to talk to you today about failure, mastering failure. In a sense, this video is essentially failing, or could fail, because typically my talking videos don't do nearly as good as, let's say, a squat or deadlift video. But a big part of making this video in my garage with my webcam and my lighting is to try something different. This might not work. I guess it's not that much different. But getting back on topic, failure, this is the hardest thing to master. It's rejection. This is why people don't like doing sales, because they're afraid of rejection. And sometimes, for a lot of us, we don't like rejecting other people. It depends on who you are, but that's really what it is. It's rejection, is that fear of not being accepted. Everybody deep down inside is afraid of not being accepted. We seek the approval of others. We seek the approval of society, and it's so difficult to move away from this. We always try to find our way to sort of like move away from what it is to be normal, to be accepted. But then there's this other viewpoint where that if you're able to kind of separate yourself from the pack and be different, you can get ahead in life. You can be different. You can be the 1%er, the 5%ers. And the problem is that the thing with being the whole 1%, the 5%ers, I think that's a Rich Piana thing if you know bodybuilding. You are a 1%er. You are a 5%er. You are one of the few. There's going to be a small amount of people who watch this video. There's going to be a small amount of people that's going to even really get what I'm saying, meaning that my message will only resonate with a few of you. And that's okay, because I do realize what I'm going to do is not going to work. And I do realize that it might fail, or it will fail, And I think that's the thing you have to master. And I talk about mastering failure because we want to be the masters of our fate, right? Invictus, to be the essentially, how do you say, just like be a master builder, right? That's what I think about when I say master failure. If you watch the Lego movie, we want to succeed, right? And I think I know this for a fact. We too often think that succeeding is so easy, or it's so easy for some people. And the reality is, a lot of the people who have succeeded have failed a shit a lot more. And the reality is, they didn't really see. When you think of failure, there's failure where it like drags you down and it holds you back, right? And then there's the failure where you just oops change, right? Oh, I run into a wall, let's make a left. Oh, run into a wall, make a right. Oh, run into a wall, go over. Whereas some of us who are failing or getting negative results, we run into the wall and then we stop and then we cry, or we bitch and then we moan. And I'm not going to pretend like I don't do that, because, I'm journeying towards my goals and trying to achieve what it is that I want to accomplish. And as I kind of inch away, making strides and taking steps and making reps, so to speak, in a metaphor, it's getting slowed down, getting bogged down by the stuff in my head. Things are not happening fast enough. My results are too slow. No one is returning my messages. This doesn't seem good. It's all this doubt, right? And this kind of brings full circle to this particular video I'm making, because I made this whole setup in my garage with this video camera, because I just figured out why it's easier for me to record with the microphone here and to talk in front of the camera. It's simply the fact that when I record a video into my computer, it already records to the computer and I get instant feedback. This is what I'm talking about, mastering failure. You have to get an immediate feedback loop. Immediate, right? The more feedback loops you get, the more you can make adjustments. So I record a video, it doesn't come out good, or I don't feel like it comes out good. I can watch it, I can see, it's like I'm not that bad, or I am that bad. I need to change. This is what makes weightlifting so amazing, and deadlifting and squatting and benching and working out, is that each repetition you can make adjustments. That's my training style. It's I do a rep, or I do a set and I do a few reps. That rep didn't feel good. That rep didn't feel good. That rep felt really good. Why did that feel great? You're constantly making adjustments. And that's how you master failure. It's not that you're failing. It's that you're making a choice that is not optimal, and then making another choice that is better, and then making a choice you think that's better but ends up being worse. And you just continue this entire process of training, this process of dieting, this process of finding videos like this, finding videos on the information you want to seek to get to where you want to be. it's funny when I talk out loud like this because I'm just hearing myself. I'm just like, wow. Because remember, when I make a video, this kind of video anyway, I'm giving off a lot of energy. And the same process of sharing my energy with you, I start to like just get all these little light bulbs that go off in my head. I'm like, oh, I know why I like doing this. It's because I get my whole body involved. I get this little buzz feeling like I'm on caffeine, but I haven't taken any caffeine. I like I'm on pre-workout, like the beta alanine buzz. And and it's like I'm connecting the dots and I'm trying to like connect all this stuff in my head. I'm trying to share it with you. And that's when you're failing, you're not failing. You're making adjustments or you're making suboptimal choices. Like recently, I made a video about, I have this fat loss tip series coming out, right? You may have seen some of it. And this guy commented about how it's a horrible advice. I think first name starts with Lord. That's the name of his username. And he says something along the lines of, it's horrible advice. He goes into this whole thing about like, acid and acidity in the body and how it's terrible for you and trans fats. And I was like, Jesus. The point is, he was not afraid to share his thoughts. And that's cool. You know, I appreciate his comment. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate your comment. Obviously, you took the time to write something, which means you had something to share, something you felt was valuable or something of value. I will say, though, that it didn't add much value. It was a hell of a criticism because you didn't really open up a discussion. Now I'm criticizing you, right? Anyways, kind of getting off topic of my ideas, that he said something that is essentially might not work. Or I guess in his head, he is so sure about what he's saying that he can't be wrong. That's basically how he writes in his comment, right? And I'm thinking to myself, at first I get this initial defense mechanism, like, oh man, that was a bad video, you know, or maybe there's a part of me that feels that way. And I'm just thinking to myself, why do I feel like this? And I'm like, should I respond? Should I feed the troll? That's rule number one. And I just realized, this is my fucking channel. I can do whatever I want. First of all, if you are 30 pounds overweight and you're having trouble sticking to a diet, cut your fucking carbohydrates. It's simple, right? I'm not saying that's the thing you're going to only follow. I'm just saying it's just an idea. You don't have to follow it. It's just a fat loss tip. It's not fat loss medical advice, right? So do whatever the fuck you want, right? Okay, going back to the topic about mastering failure. Every time you do something every day, whether it be from approaching a girl and asking for her number or a date, or hanging out with a friend and asking them to be in business with you, or to do a workout, to get a personal trainer, to achieve a goal, to go to college, to get promoted at a job, to become a personal trainer, to do anything, right? To reach that next step. You're going to fail. You're going to make some mistakes that are not as good. Like have an internet marketing business I'm trying to build, right? And I'm writing stuff for people and I'm writing emails. I'm trying to connect with people and really give value so I can help people. But I've used different email providers and I've been running into issues with that and spending all time learning tech stuff. And my point is I'm wasting time, but I don't know that I'm wasting time. Well, actually I do know I'm wasting time. My point is that I'm making less suboptimal decisions, right? But the thing is I'm continuing to move forward and I'm making adjustments along the way. And that's what I'm asking of you. Whatever goal you want, set a target. Don't be afraid to set a target. It could be 10 pounds, it could be 30 pounds, it could be increase your income by $10,000 next year. Set an incremental goal that you can work towards with very specific things that you can do. A lot of the time when it comes to like a weight loss goal or a business goal, it's always going to be a big challenge because a lot of the time there's a lot of moving parts, but there's still one or two things you can do. Like for me right now, it's making videos like this. That's one thing I can do because it helps my public speaking, gets me comfortable in front of the camera, making these particular kind of videos. But they also connect me to a small group of people that actually really like my content. And that's the people I should care most about. So you're watching this video, you're about 9 or 8 minutes in or something like that. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I really do. And I don't spend nearly enough time talking to you because there are people who click on the video and they'll watch 2 minutes of it and not watch. They'll watch my deadlift video. They'll watch my other videos, but they don't connect with me like you do. And I say this because, you know, everybody has this. There's this part of me or part of us that wants to connect with everybody, that wants to be accepted. But the reality is when you get married, you marry one person. When you choose one person, at least here anyway. Forget the world is pretty big, so this is my world, right? In the world that I live in, you have one wife or one husband, right? And you connect with one person. You're not gonna you're gonna date a few people maybe, and then you meet one person, and then you have a happy life, right? Obviously, it's more complicated than that, but the point is that there's the deep connection with a person, with people, like because I'm talking to you, like I'm talking to you like an individual because I am. And then there's that sort of surface, like, oh my God, that guy's ripped. Oh my God, that guy's so strong. Oh my God, that guy's famous. He's rich. I want to be like that guy, right? I want to be like The Rock. I want to be like, for me, like for a long time, like Elliot Hulse. Elliot Hulse, I'm a big fan of Elliot Hulse, right? Maybe you are too, right? And I just realized we're just all people. No matter how much money you make, no matter how famous you are, we are all the same. Sure, some people have certain skills in other areas, but as far as human value, we are all equal. And the problem is when it comes to failures that we are so much comparing ourselves to things that don't really matter. We're comparing monetary value and we're comparing looks, right? And don't get me wrong, there's a certain amount of like there's bottom of the barrel looks and then top looks, right? And then there's bottom like no money and then there's lots of money. Once you are essentially confident and you feel good about yourself and you take care of yourself, you're going to be good looking. Doesn't matter. Confidence is not something that you can't really fake confidence. Confidence is attractive. It doesn't matter. I'm sure like if you think you are a fairly good looking person and, but you might have a friend or someone you might know that is not nearly as good looking or is ugly, whatever that means, ugly, right? No one's really ugly, but let's say they are not as good looking as you, but they get more girls or guys or more attention. Why? Because they are really confident. And that's what that is. It's having that something that I wish I had sooner. And do I still have doubts? Of course I do. But I can tell you right now that I have pretty good confidence. I can tell you right now, in the last 12 months, my confidence has gone through the fucking roof. I'm controlling the arrogance part. Don't get me wrong. But again, I'm fucking going all over the place. But I'm trying to, let me bring this full circle. This video is getting long. We are comparing ourselves to the things that don't matter, ultimately. Money, looks, right? Like we can't help it. It's just part of our nature. I'm going on a tangent, but I know I'm going on a tangent. Like I'm looking at Matt Ogus, right, on Instagram. That guy's fucking ripped, right? And I don't even know the guy, right? But I'm judging him, right? And then is that wrong? Is it right? It's just what we do, right? And it takes a very conscious human being to be self-aware and realize, wait a minute, does that even make sense? Like part of me wants to look like ripped and jacked like Matt Ogus, just as an example, right? Or someone wants to be like rich and famous like The Rock, right? But it doesn't even really matter. They're all humans. I guess what I'm trying to like sort of bring full circle is that you have value. That's what I mean. And I know that sometimes you just don't feel like you're doing as good as you could, or that you could do better, and you could maybe should be further in life. Because I had that thought, I just turned 34, and I had this thought. It's like, why don't the feeling of age is starting to set in. I'm 34, and I start thinking about like, oh, I'm not where I want to be in life financially and have all the things that I want. And then I start to think, why am I thinking that? Let me think about all the things that I am grateful for, right? Let me think about all the things that I am grateful for. And I start to think about my kids, and I start to think about my house, and I start to think about my wife, right? Pretty fucking lucky. I'm lucky, and I'm happy. So, I'm like trying to rate myself based on like the way society, and it's hard. It takes a lot of self-awareness to sort of like get out of that, like, oh my God, the Kardashians and the TV Donald Trump and just everything that's out there. But I've trained a lot of different people, people who have a lot of money, people who don't have a lot of money. We're just all people, and knowing this, realizing this, people who are famous on the internet, people who are very good, like let's say like a superstar, like GSP, like a professional athlete, we're just people. We all have insecurities. We all have fears. We all have basically something that we're afraid of, we're deeply insecure about. Yet this person, this superstar, this wealthy person, whatever, has made it to a point in their life that is amazing. for their particular skill set, right? But that doesn't mean that they're any better than you, because that's something that I say to myself, or I used to think, because they're just people. It's just that for whatever thing that they did to get to where they are, they worked their fucking ass off, and they made mistakes, they made failures, and they fucking made adjustments. And then they kept going and they kept going and they kept going, and they didn't spend time on things that was going to take them away from their goal. Right? Because the reality is anyone who's ridiculously successful is not just as a lot of hard work, but also a lot of luck. It's a combination of both. You were working your ass off, then you got lucky, then you worked your ass off, then you got lucky again, and you just kept upping the ante. And that's how you master failure. You just have to keep moving forward, and basically eating a food you don't like, right? You just close your nose and swallow it, right? You bite your tongue, you take the pain, you make the mistake, and you make an adjustment. I'm working on a product, right? It might not do well, right? From a sales point, it's a great product that's going to help people, but it might not sell well, right? And that could be a problem. But that doesn't mean that I fail. I learned something, and I could do something with that information because I learned a valuable skill. And that's all I'm saying to myself. And it could be bullshit. It's not. The reality is it doesn't matter because it's my world, not yours. And that's what you should think about you, right? I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to simply say that you have value and that you are seriously special. And I say that with the fear of sounding disingenuous, or maybe I just don't want to come off fake. And the reality is that to really say that to someone, it sounds ridiculous, right? I mean, it really does. I'm just saying that right now. But I really think everyone has the ability to just be amazing. And you know what? It's hard to really believe this, especially if you're maybe in a dark place like I have been in before in my life. It's hard to believe that you are special and that you are capable of doing stuff amazing, and that the fact that you're good now, that you're okay now, that you're already amazing now, and even though you don't believe it, you are. And in a way, I'm really just kind of talking to myself of my past. If I can talk into a camera and I could just say this to myself, I would just say exactly what I just said. So, I mean, with that said, with this fairly long video that I'm not going to edit, I'm just going to say, look, you have value. You were special. Whatever you do, whatever you set your mind to, you can do it. I know you're afraid. I know you're scared. I know that there's something that really bothers you. You're anxious about something. You have anxiety about something. You make it so big in your head, but you will get through it. You know why you'll get through it? Because you'll just keep working on it. Sure, you might not necessarily run through the wall, but you'll find a way to get around it. You'll learn how to maneuver around your problems, and then you'll eventually learn how to conquer them. Because that's what you do. You eventually do. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like if you haven't already. Subscribe to my email list if you made it this far. It means you like my content maybe. And this was pretty cool to do because something special came out of me, something that I felt that is not easy to pull out of myself. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all on the next video.